What if I told you there's one goal you'll spend your entire life chasing, only to discover it was impossible from the very beginning? Not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not kind enough, not because you're not successful enough, but because the goal itself can never be achieved. That goal is getting everyone to like you. And the harder you try to achieve it, the more exhausted you become, because you're fighting a battle that was never designed to be won. Think about it. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are two of the greatest footballers in history. They have achieved what most people only dream of. They have won major trophies, broken records, and inspired millions. But despite everything they've accomplished, there are still people who don't like them. How is that possible? If extraordinary talent, relentless discipline, and historic success still can't earn universal approval, what can? The answer has nothing to do with football. It has everything to do with the human mind. Because people don't judge you based only on who you are. They judge you through memories you never lived, beliefs you never taught them, experiences you never shared, and insecurities you'll never see. The same person can be viewed as confident by one person and arrogant by another, kind by one person and weak by someone else. So what determines the version of you that exists inside another person's mind? The answer reveals one of the most fascinating truths about human psychology. People don't simply see you. They interpret you. And once you understand why, rejection becomes less personal, criticism becomes less powerful, and the exhausting need to be liked by everyone begins to disappear. In this video, we'll explore the psychological forces that make universal approval impossible, and why accepting that truth may become one of the most freeing lessons of your life. It begins with a simple question: do people actually see reality, or do they only see their version of it? The world you see isn't always the world others see. Have you ever had a conversation where you walked away thinking, "That's not what I meant at all"? You were trying to help. They felt attacked. You were trying to be honest. They felt criticized. The words were the same, but the experience was completely different. Why? Because human beings don't experience reality directly. We experience our interpretation of reality. Imagine two people watching the same sunset. One person sees beauty, a moment of peace, a reminder to slow down and appreciate life. The other person barely notices. Their mind is occupied by stress, problems, or something painful they haven't resolved. The sunset didn't change. The people did. This is one of the most important ideas in psychology. Every person experiences the world through a mental filter built over a lifetime. Psychologists call these filters schemas. They are patterns created from our memories, beliefs, emotions, culture, and past experiences. They help us understand the world quickly, but they also create a hidden problem. Your mind is not showing you reality exactly as it is. It's showing you reality through everything you've experienced before. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo celebrating after scoring a goal. Millions of people watch the exact same moment. One person sees confidence. They see an athlete who spent decades developing discipline and belief. Another person sees arrogance. They see someone who wants attention. The celebration is identical. The interpretation is completely different. And this happens far beyond football. A strict teacher can be remembered by one student as the person who pushed them to succeed. Another student remembers that same teacher as unfair. A demanding boss can be seen as someone who creates excellence. Another employee sees someone impossible to work with. The facts may be the same, but the meaning changes. This is why people can misunderstand you even when your intentions are good. They are not only responding to what you did, they are responding to what your actions mean inside their own mind. And those meanings are shaped by experiences you'll never fully know. Someone who has been betrayed before may struggle to trust you. Someone who has been criticized constantly may interpret advice as an attack. Someone who grew up around anger may see confidence as aggression. Not because you changed, but because they are seeing you through a lens you didn't create. Once you understand this, something important happens. You stop expecting everyone to see you exactly as you see yourself, because they never will. Every person is looking through a different lens, and every lens changes the picture. But if perception explains why people see you differently, it still doesn't explain why people become so attached to certain opinions. Why do they defend some people fiercely and reject others without truly knowing them? For that, we have to look at something much older than modern society, an ancient survival instinct that still influences human behavior today: the need to belong. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on one thing above all else: belonging. Before cities, before countries, before social media, political parties, or football clubs, there were tribes. A person who belonged to a tribe had protection, resources, and a better chance of survival. A person who was rejected had to face a dangerous world alone. Over generations, the human brain adapted to this reality. And even though the world has changed, that instinct never disappeared. It simply found new places to exist. Today, our tribes can be almost anything: a football club, a political belief, a religion, a nationality, a brand, even a community built around a person we admire. These groups may seem like simple preferences, but psychologically, they can become part of our identity. Researchers call this social identity theory, the idea that part of our sense of self comes from the groups we belong to. And once something becomes part of our identity, we naturally feel the need to protect it. Think about the rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo fans. For many supporters, it is no longer just a discussion about football. It becomes personal. When someone says, "Your favorite player isn't as good as you think," the brain doesn't always process that as a simple opinion. It can feel like a challenge to your judgment, your community, even your identity. This is why people can argue endlessly about topics that seem obvious to them. They believe they are defending facts. But underneath the surface, they are often defending belonging. And this explains something important about being liked. Sometimes people don't reject you because of something you did. They reject what you represent. A different opinion, a different lifestyle, a different way of seeing the world. Your existence challenges something they feel connected to, and the human brain is naturally uncomfortable with anything that threatens its sense of identity. This is why changing someone's mind is often much harder than simply giving them better information, because facts can challenge beliefs, but identity challenges who someone believes they are. But here's the strange part. The more people notice you, the more reasons they find to judge you. Because success doesn't only attract admiration. Sometimes it attracts comparison, criticism, and emotions people don't even realize they're carrying. And to understand why that happens, we need to look at one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Most people grow up believing success will solve one major problem. Once I achieve something important, people will finally respect me. It sounds logical. Work hard. Become successful. Earn recognition. And the criticism will disappear. But human psychology tells a different story. Success doesn't only reveal what you've achieved. It reveals how other people feel about themselves. Imagine two people watching a former classmate achieve a major goal. One person feels inspired. They think, if they were able to do it, maybe I can too. That person's success becomes proof that growth is possible. But another person has a completely different reaction. They think, why them? I worked hard too. What makes them deserve it? The achievement hasn't changed. The observer has. Psychologists explain this through social comparison theory, the idea that humans naturally evaluate themselves by comparing their lives with others. Sometimes, comparison motivates us. It pushes us to improve. But sometimes it creates discomfort because someone else's success reminds us of what we feel we lack. This is where admiration and envy separate. Admiration says, their success shows me what is possible. Envy says, their success reminds me of what I don't have. The same achievement can inspire one person and frustrate another. Think about the most successful people in the world: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. The higher they rise, the more divided public opinion often becomes. Some people celebrate them. Others search for reasons to criticize them. Not always because those successful people change, but because visibility creates comparison. The spotlight doesn't only attract applause, it attracts judgment. This is why success can sometimes change relationships. A friend who once supported you may become distant. Someone who celebrated your dreams may start questioning your choices. Not necessarily because you became a different person, but because your progress changed how they see themselves. Your success may remind them of their own goals they abandoned, their own fears, their own regrets. And that's a difficult truth to accept. You can be humble. You can be generous. You can treat people well. And some people will still struggle with your success. Not because you did something wrong, but because everyone carries their own internal battles. Some people see another person's achievement and think, what's possible for me? Others see it and think, what does this say about me? And that difference has little to do with you. But success and comparison still don't explain another mystery. Why do people sometimes decide who you are before they even know your story? Why can someone meet you once and immediately create an entire opinion about you? The answer lies in one of the brain's most powerful shortcuts, a process that helps us survive, but often shapes how we judge others. Most people like to believe they are rational. We imagine that we collect information, study the facts, and then carefully decide what we think. But the human mind often works differently. Emotion often arrives first. Reason comes later to explain it. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. Within moments, your brain begins asking questions. Can I trust this person? Do they seem confident? Do they remind me of someone I've known before? These judgments happen so quickly that we rarely notice them. The brain does this because making fast predictions helped our ancestors survive. A quick judgment could help someone decide whether a person was safe or dangerous. But the same ability that protects us can also mislead us. Because once your brain forms an opinion, it naturally begins searching for information that supports it. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. It is our tendency to notice and give more attention to information that confirms what we already believe, while ignoring information that challenges it. Imagine you believe a coworker is kind. When they help someone, remember something important, or show patience. Those moments stand out. But if you already believe that same person is selfish, you may barely notice those actions. Instead, every mistake becomes evidence. The person hasn't changed. Your attention has. This is why two people can watch the same interview, witness the same event, or meet the same person, and walk away with completely different conclusions. Think about Messi and Ronaldo again. A devoted Messi fan remembers the creativity, the vision, and the moments of brilliance. A devoted Ronaldo fan remembers the discipline, the mentality, and the achievements. Neither person believes they are being unfair. Both believe they are simply seeing reality. But their minds are filtering information through what they already believe. And the uncomfortable truth is, we all do this. Not only with celebrities, but with our friends, our family, our coworkers, and even ourselves. Sometimes we don't see evidence and then create a belief. Sometimes we create a belief, and then our mind searches for evidence. This is why changing someone's opinion of you can be so difficult. Because they may not be responding to who you actually are. They may be responding to the version of you that already exists inside their mind. And that leads to one final psychological truth. Sometimes the opinions people have about you reveal more about them than they reveal about you. Because the human mind doesn't only judge others, it also projects itself onto them. Chapter 5. The Hidden Mirror of Human Judgment. Imagine walking into a room filled with mirrors. One mirror makes you look taller. Another makes you look shorter. One stretches your reflection. Another distorts it completely. Now ask yourself, which mirror shows the real you? The answer is none of them. Each mirror reflects you through its own shape. Human judgment often works the same way. When people form opinions about you, they are not only responding to who you are, they are also responding to their own experiences, emotions, fears, and beliefs. Psychologists call one form of this projection when people unconsciously attribute their own feelings, thoughts, or motives to someone else. It doesn't mean every opinion is projection, but it helps explain why the same person can be viewed in completely different ways. Imagine someone who has been betrayed many times. When they meet someone honest, they may still struggle to trust them. Not because the new person has done anything wrong, but because their past has taught their mind to expect betrayal. Or imagine someone who often lies. They may become suspicious of everyone around them. They assume others think the same way they do. Now think about confidence. A secure person may look at someone who speaks confidently and think they believe in themselves. Someone who feels insecure may see that same person and think they are arrogant. The confidence didn't change. The observer did. This is why the same version of you can receive completely different labels. One person calls you ambitious. Another calls you obsessed. One sees independence. Another sees distance. One sees confidence. Another sees pride. So who is right? Sometimes, neither person is seeing the complete picture. They are seeing you through their own personal lens. But this doesn't mean you should ignore all criticism. That would be a mistake. Not every criticism is an attack. Sometimes, criticism is a mirror showing you what you need to improve. Some people can see weaknesses in us that we cannot see ourselves. Growth requires humility. The key is learning the difference between feedback that helps you improve and opinions that simply reflect someone else's inner world. Ask yourself, is there something useful I can learn from this? If there is, use it. Grow from it. But if the judgment comes from someone's fear, insecurity, or misunderstanding, you don't have to carry it. Because one of the most freeing lessons in psychology is this: not every opinion about you is a truth about you. Sometimes, it is simply a reflection of the person holding that opinion. And once you understand that, the need to be liked by everyone begins to lose its power. So, what do you do with this understanding? If people see reality through different lenses, if humans naturally form tribes, if success creates both admiration and envy, if emotions influence judgment, and if people sometimes project their own experiences onto you, how are you supposed to live? The answer is not to stop caring what people think. That isn't realistic. Human beings are social creatures. We are designed to seek connection, acceptance, and belonging. The goal is not to become someone who doesn't care. The goal is to stop allowing every opinion to control your sense of worth. Because the moment your happiness depends on everyone approving of you, you give other people control over your peace. And that is a battle you can never win. Think about it. If Lionel Messi cannot be loved by everyone, if Cristiano Ronaldo cannot be respected by everyone, if some of history's greatest minds, artists, and leaders were misunderstood and criticized, why should any of us expect a different experience? Maybe the purpose of life was never to be liked by everyone. Maybe it was to become someone you can respect, even when others don't understand you. This doesn't mean rejecting criticism. Some criticism is a gift. It reveals blind spots. It shows us where we can grow. Listen to the people who genuinely want the best for you. Learn from honest feedback. But don't confuse every opinion with truth. Some people are giving you wisdom. Others are simply giving you their perspective. And those two things are not the same. So instead of asking, how can I make everyone like me? Ask a better question. Am I becoming someone I genuinely respect? Because popularity changes. Opinions change. People's perceptions change. But your character is built by the choices you make when nobody is watching. The people who leave the greatest impact on history were rarely the ones who pleased everyone. They were the ones who stayed committed to their values despite rejection. So the next time someone misunderstands you, the next time someone judges you unfairly, or the next time you feel the pressure to earn everyone's approval, remember this: you are not living in one world. You are living in billions of different worlds, one inside every human mind. Some people will admire you. Some will misunderstand you. Some will criticize you. And some may never truly see who you are. That is not a failure. That is simply human nature. The day you stop trying to control every opinion about you is the day you begin to experience a different kind of freedom. Not the freedom of being loved by everyone, but the freedom of finally being yourself. If this documentary changed the way you see human behavior, subscribe to Mind Archive, because understanding your mind is the first step to understanding people.